Ndewona. It's nice to get the chance to make another one of these. It's been a while since I made or posted one, and this time around we'll be digging into Nnekata by the iconic Flavour Nabania. This song is so long overdue because somebody requested it months ago and I didn't do a good job of putting it up promptly. And it's even worse because I've actually broken down the song and used it in a live class that I taught some time ago. So I just had to take the extra step of making a video out of it. So my apologies, but at least it's here now. And I would say that you can pause this video here while you can see the lyrics. Go ahead and listen to Flavor's song with the lyrics up on your screen, and then come back and watch the rest of the video. You can also just move on if you've already listened to the song. Alright, let's go. First, I want to say something about Flavor's place of birth and upbringing. It will also be a chance to learn the phrases that you can use to make these statements about yourself. So the first statement is Amoro blank na blank. The first blank is the person and the second blank is the location. You can use this phrase to talk about where someone was born. So the English equivalent is such and such person was born in such and such location. And then the second statement is blank doro na blank. The first blank is the person and the second blank is the location. And you can use these statements to talk about where someone grew up. So the English equivalent is such and such person grew up in such and such location. So now let's apply these statements to Flavor based on my not very in-depth research about him. According to Wikipedia, it seems like Amor Flavor na Anambra. Flavor was born in Anambra, and Otoro Nenugu. He grew up in Enugu. If you're lucky enough to know Flavor, you can find out from him if these details are true. But anyway, just a few notes on the sentences I wrote. Instead of repeating his name, I used O, which is the pronoun he. So instead of being repetitive and saying Flavor was born in Anambra, Flavor grew up in Enugu, I said Flavor was born in Anambra, he grew up in Enugu. I also removed the vowel a in na because another vowel comes right after it, the A in Anambra and the E in Enugu. So instead of saying na Anambra or na Enugu, you would say na Anambra and Nenugu. To talk about yourself using these phrases, you can say amorum na blank, etorum na blank. So for me, it would be amorum na Hausa, etorum na Igbo. I was born in Hausa land. I grew up in Igbo land. The a and me and the and me, a and m, e and m, are the split up versions of the pronoun I. So, I said I was born, I grew up. You can use these statements to fill in your own details and use it to talk about yourself. Anyway, why is it relevant that Amor Flavor Nanambara and that Otoro Nenugu? As we go through the song, I'll point out the central Igbo version of some of the lines in the song. Flavor sings in his own dialect. Maybe Anambra, maybe Enugu, I'm not sure, based on where he was born and where he grew up. And I won't lie, some of his words were hard to understand. So I had to do some extra work and digging and asking questions to figure out some of the things he was saying. Or just having to listen to the song over and over again and say it differently, and then, I could make sense of what he was saying. Um, and just because I'm not used to this dialect. So it'll be fun to explore other ways to say the things that he's saying in the song. I'm taking a different approach with this song compared to how I've done other videos. Instead of going line by line, I've organized the vocabulary in the song into different categories. The first category are names for Flavor's love interest. He calls her many different names, but I've only listed the Igbo names. The English ones, even if he says them with an Igbo twang, they should be self-explanatory. So let's just focus on the Igbo names he gives her. Let's start with her name. So in the song, Flavor's love interest is called Didi, and that might just be her name, Didi. It could just be, Didi, nothing more to it. But I'm stretching that name and saying that it could be something like Ndidi. Ndidi is an Igbo name, and Ndidi means patience. So anyone with the name Ndidi has a name that means patience. But that's just me inferring that that could be a possibility. Her name might just be Didi, and it could be Didi by itself, or it could be Didi, which is short form of some other name, or it could be Didi, which is a short form of Ndidi. Take it as you will. The next thing Flavor calls Didi is Wanyi aga ano ano, or another way to say it is Wanyi aga alo alo. Ịlụ nwaanyị is to marry a woman. So nwaanyị a ga-anụ anụ is a woman to be married. And in Igbo culture and other cultures too, somebody who is marryable is somebody with like good qualities. So it's a compliment to Didi that he's calling her a woman to be married. And then he also calls Didi Nwa Chukwu Kelu Ubosi Ụka. Or you can also say Nwa Chukwu Kere Ubochi Ụka. And that means a child God created, Kelu or Kere is created on Obosioka or Obochoka is a day of worship, which would be Sunday. So if you're created on a Sunday, you're extra special basically. So that's another compliment. And then Flavor also calls her Enenebe Ejanlo or Elelebe Ejanro. And the straightforward meaning of that is just that she's a distraction. Literally, it means somebody that if one begins looking at, that person won't go to work. So, something that grabs your attention like that, you begin looking, you won't go to work, you forget about other things you have to do. That person is a distraction. And in this case, he's complimenting her as, the fact that she grabs people's attention. And then finally, he calls her Asa. Asa is just a slang word for beautiful lady. Okay, moving on. Besides giving her fancy names, Flavor also praises Didi in other ways. So let's see what those are. We use the verb ide to describe people or to describe things or places. So to use Ngalibo to explain it, ide a certain way is equivalent to saying to be a certain way. So with this, Flavor tells Didi, ide sharp, which means you are sharp. Ide hot, you are hot. So now you have a phrase that you can add to your Ngalibo toolkit. If you throw in any adjective after ide, you can use it to describe someone. So you can say things like it is smart, it is kind, it is important. Do you catch that reference? But anyway, besides ide, there are also other verb phrases that you can use to describe someone in more specific ways. So we had ide a certain way, which means to be a certain way, but there are also things like ipo iche, which means to be different or to stand out or to be unique. And with this, Flavor tells Didi ipuliche, which means you stand out or you're unique. And ipuliche can also be ipuriche, which means the same thing. It's just in a different dialect. It also means like, you're unique or you stand out. Okay, so this next category is a bit of a stretch in the way that I've organized it. But they're just different sentences and statements that I've grouped together to understand how Flavor is feeling about Didi. Not that the names and praises that we just saw haven't already given us that insight, but with these we can continue to explore how Flavor is feeling about Didi. So I have a feeling of awe, feeling of excitement, and also some feelings of uncertainty. So, under awe, this is what we have. Ine mmadụ, ine mmadụ anya, or ile mmadụ, means to look at someone. But Nnekata mmadụ, or ilekata mmadụ, is to look for a while at someone. So Flavour says, Nnekata no Didi. I look for a while, y'all, at Didi. That no is the y'all that I'm bringing in. Or the other way is Nlekata no Didi. So what happens when he looks for a while at Didi? You have Ibagwo isi is like to confuse, or like to confuse the head, to confuse. And so it says Obagwo isi, it confuses me. Or Iriari isi is to scatter the head. Or Riari isi, it scatters my head. So at the beginning of the song you hear Nnekata no Didi Obagwo isi Nnekata no Didi Oriare isi. When I look at Didi for a while, it confuses me, it scatters my head. And then we have, he says Kilibe, Kilibe, Kilibe no baby. That ikilimado is to look at someone. That's not a verb I'm used to, but I think Anambra people or Enugu people say, kilie, kilie mado, something like that. Anyway, ikilimado is to look at someone. So he says kilibe, kilibe, kilibe no baby. He says just look at this baby. This time that no is more of an emphasis. It's not a y'all type of nu. It's right up on the word, so it's like it's showing emphasis. It's like kilibeno, like look now, look at this baby. Now for excitement, we have ihe je emewe. Ihe, the thing, eje, being attended, emewe is beginning. And the way he says it is ihe wa ejekwe emewe. The wa and kwe are emphasis. So instead of saying ihe, you say ihe wa. And then eje becomes echekwe. So inhewa echekwe emewe. And then for uncertainty, I have ikwe omume means to agree to occurrence or simply to be possible. So oye kwo omume, or Central Igbo version, oye kwo omume means it will be possible, or will it be possible. And in the song he says oyate kwekwo omume. Again, that can be ogakwe kwekwo omume, and it's the same thing about asking, if it will be possible. The thing that we're going to is beginning. Will it actually happen? Will it be possible? Alright, let's keep going. Next, I have a category about things for Didi to do. So Flavour is talking to her and he tells her different things. Let's see what they are. Ikwado ngobi is to prepare for celebration. So he tells her kwadobe ngobi, begin preparing for celebration. Ifecha or ihicha means to clean up. So he tells her fechaba, or you can say it as hichawa, start cleaning up. And then when he says fichabano, hichawano, which is the alternate version, that's just the same thing, like start cleaning up, prepare for celebration, and this time the no is bringing in emphasis. Next, ilecha is to fully look at a situation. So when he says lechabano, lechawano, start looking fully, and this time it has emphasis. It's like, look at this situation, assess the situation, take it in kind of situation. Then when he's hyping her, there's a section of the song where he's like hyping her up, in like a dance sequence, and he tells her all sorts of things. So let's see what they are. So there's isurugede, means to stand firm or confidently. So when he says surugede, he's telling her stand firm, stand confidently. Icho is to seek, to look for. Chawaya is like look for it, start seeking it. Itegu is to dance, is another way to say to dance. You might also hear Iba Egu, itegu, to dance. So he says teweya, start dancing it. Ijide is to hold. Jideya, hold it. Iwe is to take. Weweya, start taking it. So when he's hyping her up, he's like, Ngwana suru gede, ngwa chawaya, teweya, jideya, weweya, all these things. And like, as phrases to hype somebody to dance, I mean, it might not make sense. Like what are you looking for when you're dancing, or what are you taking when you're dancing? But you get what I mean. Like even in English, when you're hyping somebody to dance, you just say all sorts of things to like boost that person's confidence. This next one are things that Flavour will do, and we have Iburumanya is to carry wine. Geburumanya is will carry wine, and Flavour says Agame Burumanya, I will carry wine. And what will he do with that wine? Bujere is to carry to. Bujere Madu is to carry to someone. And who is that someone in the song? Bujere Papage, carry to your father. So Flavour is saying, Agame Burumanya, Bujere Papage, I will carry wine and carry to your father. And in Igbo culture, when you're carrying wine, you're asking for someone's hand in marriage, and he's basically talking about wanting to marry Didi. Next, we have phrases that tell us about what Flavour and Didi are doing together. And so we have Isepwane, or Central Igbo version, Isepwala. Isepwane mobu. Isepwala means to kneel down. Gesepwane or Gesepwala means we'll kneel down. Anyị ga-esekpu ani, or anyị ga-esekpu ala means we will kneel down. And when they kneel down, what's going to happen? Ka ogozie mụ na gị, so that he blesses me and you. So Flavour and Didi will kneel down so that her father will bless both of them. And finally, we have some interjections that show up in the song. And so Flavour says something like Ngwano fichabano teweya, ngwa teweya. So it's like saying, alright, start cleaning up, alright, start dancing. So that ngwa is like, alright, blah blah blah. In different lines he also says Oya, Oya do this, Oya do that. Oya is like the pidgin English version of ngwa. So it's not actually Igbo, but I threw it in here to explain what it is. Then in different places he also says ewe, which might also be ewo, and he also says chai. Both of these are other interjections that he uses in the song. Igbo people use these words to express strong emotions that are hard to express with words, and it can be for a positive or a negative occurrence, just depending on your tone. Alright, that is it with this song. I tried to make it super quick. Hopefully it makes sense. Here are the lyrics again. Now you can go back and listen to the whole song and see what you can pick up from it. Enjoy.